My lords, today I bring report of Dr. Sanchez aboard the science vessel C-137. Dr. Sanchez responded to a unique signal emanating from the second planet in an unsurveyed system on our eastern border. It appears that the planet at one point sustained life, however life signs now show nothing currently occupies this world, and bizarrely the signal is coming from the opposite side of the planet to where we believe the extinct civilization that occupied the world lived. The signal led the team to a deep gully situated in a treacherous valley full of giant rock formations. Eventually, Dr. Sanchez discovered a fairly large vessel situated at the bottom of the gully, and the signal emanating was in fact a distress call. Although the ship continued to call for aid, life sign scans remained negative. Sanchez and his team determined that in order to reach the ship, they would have to rappel down into the depths of the gully, an arduous task, but clearly exploration of the vessel would be worth it. Upon reaching the ship, the team identified an open hatch and were able to simply climb inside. The ship, although clearly very old, was not particularly noteworthy. It was of a considerably lower technological level than our own vessels, having only basic sublight engines and a poor quality of shielding. It did, however, have some quite remarkable cryobays, akin to those developed by the very ancient Yut Empire. Perhaps this empire, like the Yut, did not rely on speed to get around. The other thing of note regarding this vessel was the distinct lack of internal controls. Sanchez identified no obvious control panels, levers, or buttons. The only consistency was a circular port approximately 5 centimeters in diameter, almost as if it was designed for a tentacle or cylindrical limb. In any case, there were no signs of alien life left aboard the vessel. The team conducted an extensive search of the surroundings and along the gully's floor, and one of the team discovered signs of a rudimentary alien camp. Perhaps the aliens from the ship came this way and made camp. Dr. Sanchez and his team identified tracks leaving the camp and tracked them to find themselves before a partially collapsed cave entrance. Weather and perhaps even flooding had eaten away at the entrance to the cave, and a robotically assisted workforce was called in to excavate the entrance, allowing the doctor and his team to further explore. After clearing out the entrance to the cave, the team quickly began to find alien remains. Sanchez and the team set about analysis and determined that they had succumbed to a bacterial disease. Oddly, the bacteria does not seem to be native to the planet, and it does not share any DNA markers with that of the aliens themselves. The disease appeared to have degraded their internal organs. Effectively, it ate them from the inside over a period of weeks. Not a pleasant way to go. The doctor and his team categorically state that the bacteria are not harmful to humans in any way, and go as far to suggest that they believe the bacteria may have been intelligently designed to attack the aliens' biology specifically. In any case, it remains unclear what these aliens' objectives were and what brought them to this specific location. It's even unclear if they crashed or if they landed in the gully on purpose. The machines and computer banks that litter the cave are all comparable with that of the ship, i.e. they're fairly rudimentary compared to our own technology, and it appears little can be salvaged here. One of the doctor's team, a Morty Smith, discovered a seemingly secret door. Hidden behind a rusted computer bank, it was magnetically sealed, and also seemed to be of a material much stronger than that of the armour of their crashed ship. Perhaps it was built towards the end of this empire's development. The team is working on bringing a portable mining laser in order to crack through the door and discover whatever secrets hide behind it. The laser did its work quickly. Sanchez reported a small release of air as the door fell apart. What it was protecting was quite something. An incredibly large room containing rows and rows of what we initially thought were cryovats, but are in fact cloning tanks. Thousands of cloning tanks fill the room, all containing adult aliens. Life sign monitors flicker and pulse. It appears that this civilization is still somewhat alive. After a brief exploration, Sanchez and his team report that approximately 1,407 tanks occupy the room and remain active. Furthermore, the alien remains discovered in the cave entrance seem to match those inside the tanks. The doctor identified how to wake up the aliens, and upon arrival of a small military contingent, decided to wake one of the clones up. The room was full of apprehension as the team woke up one of the aliens. It was approximately 1.5 meters tall, very thin with barely any visible muscle mass. It had 2 tentacles where its arms should be, that were the approximate length of its body. Its eyes were extremely large compared to its head, and it was wearing or had grown what can only be described as a hood or a cloak that almost reflected a budding flower. Sanchez reports that the alien spoke with little prompting, and our translation equipment worked flawlessly. The alien explained that it was a Larionessi, part of the Larionessi Consciousness, and welcomed the Doctor to its homeworld, Larion. It was remarkably courteous considering that it had been in the cloning vat for several millennia. In fact, this may have been the first time the alien had ever spoken. The alien was very open, answering Dr. Sanchez's questions without hesitation. It explained to us that it could sense that it was on its homeworld and it belonged to a hive mind consciousness, although it did not seem concerned that it was currently the only one awake. According to the alien, which Sanchez has amusingly named Kevin, the Larionessi collective was stretched across several solar systems from the outer rim to the core of the galaxy. However, at some point in their development, they were attacked by an unnamed rival empire who developed an effective method of biological warfare. The rival empire created the bacterial disease that we identified had killed the aliens back in the cave. It targeted the Larionessi neural network, rendering them unable to communicate with one another, and then began to degrade the rest of their internal organs. A quite effective death sentence. The Larionessi were losing the war badly. As the disease spread throughout their people, their society began to capitulate and break down. The alien ship we found was their effective last best hope. They built the laboratory and the cloning facility in an effort to survive beyond the disease and the war. And it seems that that worked, at least up until now. The alien believes that the disease should likely have disappeared given that it has no host to survive in, and believes that its people would be safe to reoccupy the planet should they all be woken. The Doctor reports that the bacteria identified back on the corpses was indeed inactive, so that part seems accurate at least. Dr. Sanchez requests, my lords, that we make a decision to determine the fate of Kevin and the 1400 or so of the Larionessi collective. It seems we have 3 choices. We could allow the collective to recolonize the system under their own steam. It is highly unlikely that they will ever be a threat to us, for their technology is centuries behind our own. We could study their empire, or even vassalize them under the guise of protection, of course. Granted, they could be split up and moved to different planets across the empire. However, I know in similar situations, our society tends to find living with alien life to be quite repugnant. I would not be surprised to see a significant increase in xenophobia should we choose this option. Of course, the final option is the most simple. We dispose of the alien and deactivate the remaining cloning vats. Our researchers on the Science Nexus will be keen to study the cloning vat technology. Perhaps it can augment our own understanding and increase population growth. As ever, the biologists and geneticists are always keen to study alien life. In any case, my lords, as ever, the decision is yours to make, and I trust you'll choose wisely. Thanks for watching, folks. What choice would you make? Let me know in the comments, and as ever, if you want to hear another story, please click the video on screen now.